Statements by ministers. The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Monsieur le Président. Ever since about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, a week ago last Friday, hearts have been aching in Saskatchewan, tears have been flowing, shock and trauma have gripped an entire province. Prayers have been uttered by the faithful of every possible creed. As the cruel reality settled in that a terrible highway crash had devastated the Humboldt Broncos hockey team. 29 souls were on the Bronco bus on that drive northeast to Nipawin to meet the Hawks in the SJHL playoff game on April the 6th. 23 of them were great young hockey players, aged 16 to 21. 2 were coaches, plus the trainer, the statistician, the play-by-play broadcaster, and the bus driver. 16 lives were lost, including 10 players. For the other 13, their lives have been profoundly changed. Young people, for the most part. They were fit and strong and smart and talented, working hard to pursue their passion for hockey, living the dream. They were the pride of their families and their hometowns, and the pride of the families with whom they were billeted away from home, and their teachers and their mentors, and the Broncos organization that tried so hard to look after them. The pain hit hard in Humboldt and in nearby Saskatoon and in 8 other Saskatchewan towns and Winnipeg and 8 communities across Alberta. But the anguish knew no bounds. It swept the entire province and the country. After all, this is Canada. Despite the calendar, it's still mostly winter. Hockey playoffs are in full swing virtually everywhere, and hockey, in large measure, shapes our lives. There's hardly a family anywhere in Canada that would be unfamiliar with those buses taking thousands of our kids somewhere almost every day to play hockey or some other sport they love. La douleur de Humboldt est ressentie à travers le Canada, où les autobus pleins de jeunes qui vont jouer au hockey ou à un autre sport qui les passionne, fait partie de la vie quotidienne. Cette tragédie a donc touché toutes nos communautés de très près. So this was a tragedy that really struck home. For most of us, it was personal, hitting right where we live. It extended into the United States and Europe and rippled around the world from Uganda to Australia and back to the high Arctic. It engaged people like Drake and golf champion Brooke Henderson and Her Majesty the Queen, and thousands, maybe millions more. Everyone wanted to connect and help with their prayers and gestures of solidarity. We left our sticks out on the doorstep. We wore jerseys, we still are. There were editorials and heart-wrenching cartoons. Tons of people raised money and gave money. They played road hockey and pond hockey and floor hockey and regular hockey. They started marathons. They sold stickers and badges. Some wrote songs and poems. Others sent flowers to vigils, memorials, and funerals, still ongoing. Thousands of people are attending to be together, to share and support. There are cards and letters and posters and banners and videos and miles of the green and yellow ribbons on virtually everyone's lapel, messages on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. From the smallest novice or atom or peewee team to the top brass of the NHL, The entire hockey community worldwide brought awareness and compassion and understanding about how big and how painful this situation was and is. The outpouring of interest and concern is likely unparalleled. It's a way to show we care. It is basic human kindness, and that too is what defines us. And everyone affected says thank you for that. Together we say thank you to the first responders, RCMP officers, firefighters, and paramedics from Nipawin, Tisdale, Melfort, Zenon Park, and other places who were on the scene of that horrific crash, doing probably the hardest work of all. Thank you to the emergency medical teams in the local hospitals and to the STARS air ambulance crews who flew them there, and the medical staff at the Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon. Thank you to the trauma teams and the grief counselors and the victim services people who continue to provide aid and comfort and will for a long time. And to the teachers and the school boards and the community volunteers who work with young people, especially to help them come to terms with what has happened. We hold in our hearts all the bereaved and troubled families and friends of the victims, the city of Humboldt, and the entire Broncos organization. For the injured and the suffering, for Braden, Bryce, Derek, Grayson, Jacob, Caleb, Lane, Matthew, Morgan, Nick, Ryan, Tyler, and Xavier. We pray for your healing and your recovery, and for hope replacing despair. And for those we cannot see again, gone far too soon, we pledge always to remember your zest for life, your skill and your talent, the joy you brought into the lives of so many others, and the potential that you represented of the very best of Canada. Rest in peace and abiding love. Tyler Bieber from Humboldt, Logan Boulay from Lethbridge, Dana Bronze from Lake Lenore, Mark Cross from Strasbourg, Glenn Dirksen from Carrot River, Adam Harold from Montmartre, Darcy Hogan from Humboldt, Brody Hintz from Humboldt, Logan Hunter from St. Albert, Jackson Joseph from Edmonton, Jacob Light from Humboldt, Connor Lucan from Slave Lake, Logan Schatz from Allen, Evan Thomas from Saskatoon, Parker Tobin from Stony Plain, and Stephen Wack from St. Albert. You will forever be heroes in our eyes and in our hearts. The goodness of your lives and the kindness of so many people now sharing your loss will help a grieving country find strength and rekindle hope. Deep condolences from the government, the Parliament, and the people of Canada.
The Honourable Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Monsieur le Président, semaine dernière, un groupe de personnes se sont rassemblées pour souligner une perte de vie comme nous en avons rarement vu au Canada. Elles se sont réunies dans le froid juste avant que la mise au jeu soit faite aux éliminatoires de la LNH, qui est habituellement une chose que la plupart des familles canadiennes ne veulent pas rater. They brought hockey sticks, not to play with this time, but to hold quietly and say a prayer. This didn't happen in Humboldt, Saskatchewan, Mr. Speaker, or even in the town next door. It was more than 5,000 kilometers away in the community of Mount Pearl, Newfoundland and Labrador. From the heart of our most beautiful Canadian prairies to the outermost limits of our nation at the edge of the continent, the tragedy that took 16 lives and shattered hundreds more has connected us all in a way we never expected. Tous ceux qui roulent sur les autoroutes canadiennes savent que l'on éprouve un sentiment de grandeur. La fébrilité et l'activité de nombreux pays sont ici remplacées par les autoroutes et les routes rurales du Canada, par les champs agricoles et par des petites villes et des banlieues isolées. I'm proud to live in the great province of Saskatchewan. We have hundreds of small communities, all spread out. It's always struck me how, despite the hundreds and hundreds of small towns over a space larger than most European countries, how people seem to always know someone from one of those towns, no matter where they live. A friend could mention that he is from Hanley. Everyone will know where that is. I once asked a friend of mine how he always seemed to know where so many of these small towns are. They surely couldn't have taught every town and village in geography class in Saskatchewan. Simple, he said. I played hockey. I've probably been to more than half of them. It's always a tragedy to lose a loved one. Far too many Canadians lose their lives on our roads and highways every year. But to have lost so many young people, all taken at once, that has sent shockwaves throughout our entire province and our country. We may be spread out all over the four corners of our province, but there are many things that connect us together. So many reasons why we always seem to know somebody from all over Saskatchewan. There are not too many degrees of separation. It's almost like the whole province is one big, small town. Everybody feels connected. Everybody supports each other. Whether you're from Meadow Lake or Nipawin or Estevan or Fort Capel or Humboldt, we care about the people from our province. We cheer them on. We rally together, and we do it with pride. And hockey has been one of those great unifiers that pull communities together. With that community spirit, sport is one of the greatest unifiers of all. On game night, everyone heads down to the arena for the match. Getting a rink burger is even considered a romantic date. It's where you hear all the town news, get all the good gossip, and find out the big events for the weekend. Friendly rivalries, memories of legendary games and players, the fall fundraiser to pay for new boards or new stands. For the kids that play on these teams, these will be some of the best days of their lives. They develop friendships on the ice and on the bus that become lifelong bonds. Laughing in hotel rooms, holding up championship trophies, they learn to depend on each other and to trust each other. Tap the goalie on the helmet, say something nice, even after he lets in a goal. They learn the valuable lessons of sportsmanship, how to win, how to lose, how to communicate, how to listen. They learn that hard work pays off. But best of all, they learn what it means to be a teammate. So many young boys and girls have ridden the bus down those long stretches of highways, good weather and bad. So many parents have followed along. So many families have opened their doors to billet young kids playing out their dreams. That is why this tragedy has shook us all so much. But in times of crisis and times of tragedy, a Canadian in Humboldt, Saskatchewan, becomes the neighbor of a Canadian in Newfoundland, British Columbia, or the territories. For days, Canadians have been leaving hockey sticks outside their front doors in a show of mourning for the lives lost in the Humboldt Broncos family. In our hockey-obsessed country, a stick left against a garage door or on a front porch is as normal a sight as the school bus pulling up to the curb in the morning, as comforting as mom calling the kids in for dinner. Last week, those sticks became a symbol of a nation coming together to grieve and to support the families and friends of the Humboldt Broncos. Nous ne pouvons tout simplement pas comprendre ceux qui vivent, les parents et les proches des 16 personnes qui ont perdu la vie dans ce terrible accident. C'est une tragédie qui défie l'entendement. C'est tout simplement un moment qui a arrêté notre pays et dont nous commençons juste à nous remettre. From a small town in Saskatchewan has flowed a river of grief, one that has washed over thousands of families across the country. Everybody back home knew somebody touched by this tragedy. Your doctor's cousin, your sister's coworker, your son's neighbor. To the community of Humboldt and to the towns across Canada from which the victims came just to play the game they loved, we say we grieve with you and we will remember you. No matter where you live, no matter how quiet the nights seem, no matter how small the town feels, we are all your neighbors now. To those still recovering in hospital, we are thinking of you and sending you our prayers for strength for the challenges that lay ahead. That powerful photo of Derek, Grayson, and Nick holding hands in the hospital has become a powerful image. As Premier Scott Moe said, Saskatchewan, these are our boys. The entire country will be there to help support the victims and their families and to keep the game going and win the next one for the Broncos. To those we lost, to Dana, Parker, Darcy, Brody, Logan, Jackson, Adam, Mark, Tyler, Stephen, Logan, Connor, Glenn, Evan, Jacob, and Logan. May God rest your souls. For you, we'll keep the stands full, we'll keep the rink lights on, and we'll keep the sticks by the door.
L'honorable député de Rimouski-Neigette, Musquat-les-Basses.
Mr. Speaker, today with heavy hearts, we rise to mourn the lives of those we lost in the tragedy that struck the Humboldt Broncos last week. We wrestle with tears and our voices tremble as we remember the names of those who were taken from their families and community. Tyler Bieber, Logan Boulet, Dana Bronze, Mark Cross, Glenn Dirksen, Darcy Hagen, Adam Herold, Brody Hines, Logan Hunter, Jackson Joseph, Jacob Light, Connor Lucan, Logan Schatz, Parker Tobin, Evan Thomas, and Stephen Wack. Hockey is a powerful force that binds Canadians together. For anyone who has traveled with players on their way to a game, be it for hockey, basketball, soccer, baseball, there is a palpable sense of excitement on board the bus, a buzz around the possibilities presented by the upcoming 60 minutes of hockey. Mais le 6 avril, l'enthousiasme qu'il y avait à bord a connu une fin tragique. Il n'y aura plus jamais de mise au jeu pour leur match des séries, mais l'engagement des Broncos envers leurs coéquipiers ainsi que leur amour du hockey ne sera jamais oublié. Cet événement a profondément secoué notre pays. La population canadienne a répondu comme elle seule sait le faire, avec empathie et solidarité, en portant des chandails de hockey, en laissant des bâtons de hockey près de la porte d'entrée et en exprimant son amour pour toutes les personnes touchées par cet accident dévastateur. Ça nous rappelle à quel point la communauté du hockey est tricotée serrée au Canada et combien, dans des moments comme celui-ci, nous avons besoin de nous sentir connectés pour être capables de comprendre ce qui s'est passé et, à terme, d'essayer de trouver une façon d'aller de l'avant ensemble. On behalf of New Democrats, I want to thank the first responders who arrived on the scene and cared and continue to care for all those affected by this tragedy. Your work is a terrible burden that most of us will never know. I also want to wish the survivors of the crash and their family and friends the strength to overcome the challenges that lie ahead. Know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. To the parents, friends, and family who have lost 16 remarkable Canadians, as well as those still recovering from their injuries, I want to extend my most sincere condolences for your loss. Your town, your province, and your country are here for you. I encourage you, and I encourage us all, to, in Jacob Light's mother's word, and to follow them, to be a part of something bigger. From hurt can come good. Thank you.
Est-ce qu'il y a le consentement unanime pour que l'honorable député de Rivière-du-Nord puisse ajouter ses commentaires? D'accord.
Merci, M. le Président. Monsieur le Président, je prends donc à mon tour la parole sur la tragédie de Humboldt. Je prends la parole alors que, comme des millions de nos concitoyens, je suis sans voix. Je prends la parole alors que je ne trouve pas les mots. Des jeunes qui jouent au hockey, c'est Humboldt. Et c'est Alma, c'est Truro, c'est Yellowknife, c'est Val-d'Or, c'est Sudbury. Des jeunes qui jouent au hockey avec des hommes et des femmes qui les encouragent, qui les entraînent, qui les soignent. C'est l'histoire de tous nos villages, de toutes nos villes et de toutes nos régions. C'est la vie au nord, c'est le plaisir de l'hiver, le ciment qui unit nos communautés quand arrive l'hiver. Des jeunes qui voyagent en autobus d'une ville à l'autre pour pratiquer le sport qu'ils aiment tant, c'est la vie rêvée. Tellement de plaisir, tellement de bonheur, ça ne doit pas être une tragédie, juste quelque chose de le fun. La tragédie qui a frappé la communauté d'Humboldt nous touche tous. On connaît tous des jeunes qui jouent dans une équipe comme les Broncos. Ça pourrait être partout, ça pourrait être tout le monde. Mais c'est la communauté de Humboldt qui a été frappée. Ce sont les Broncos qui ont été fauchés. C'est eux qui sont partis et c'est à eux que nous offrons nos pensées. Vous êtes partis trop tôt et c'est pas juste. En fait, c'est jamais juste. En mon nom personnel, au nom des membres du groupe parlementaire québécois, et j'oserais dire, Monsieur le Président, au nom de tous les Québécois, j'offre aux familles, aux proches des Broncos de Humboldt, à la communauté ainsi qu'aux gens de la Saskatchewan, nos plus sincères condoléances. Aux survivants, je dis prompt rétablissement. Nous sommes de tout cœur avec vous. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Est-ce qu'il y a le consentement unanime de la Chambre pour que l'honorable député de Manicouagan puisse ajouter ses commentaires? D'accord.
Monsieur le Président, je vous remercie de me permettre de prendre la parole pour répondre à la déclaration du ministre de la Sécurité publique, au nom du Bloc québécois, mais aussi au nom de l'équipe de la Ligue de hockey junior majeur du Québec, dont je porte les couleurs aujourd'hui, le Drakkar de Bécomo, en celui de la ville de Bécomo et de son maire, M. Yves Montigny. De même qu'en mon propre nom, à titre de député de Manicouagan, pour offrir notre appui et témoigner toute notre compassion aux familles éprouvées par la tragédie qui a éprouvé les Broncos de Humboldt, comme à toutes les communautés touchées par le deuil. Vous savez, dans les communautés rurales éloignées, comme les nôtres, les jeunes hockeyeurs et les gens, le personnel qui les accompagne, passent inévitablement de longues heures sur les routes pour vivre leur passion. Des routes sinueuses et malheureusement parfois dangereuses. Nous sommes fiers et heureux de voir nos enfants, notre équipe, partir pour accomplir leurs rêves. Mais nous sommes tous conscients que cela implique un risque. Nous souhaitons donc tous de pouvoir les prendre dans nos bras pour tantôt les réconforter, tantôt les féliciter lors de leur retour de compétition. Comme gouvernement et comme élus, il est de notre devoir d'assurer à tous les parents la sécurité de nos enfants, des nôtres, ce droit d'accueillir nos enfants à la maison sains et saufs. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes ébranlés par cette tragédie sans nom. Elle a toutefois fait naître une solidarité qui vibre avec notre jeunesse. Par exemple, ce matin, sur la Côte-Nord, des jeunes de l'école primaire d'une petite communauté, Ragno, a confectionné des cartes et fait parvenir des bâtons de hockey à l'école primaire de Humboldt, qui se trouve à 3387 km de chez eux. Les drapeaux de Bécomo sont en berne depuis une semaine. Partout, chez moi et au Québec, des gestes sont faits pour supporter les gens touchés de près ou de loin par la perte incommensurable que vit l'équipe des Broncos, parce qu'en vérité, nous sommes tous. Nos enfants sont nos héros. En mon nom, en celui de tous les Nord-Côtiers et bien sûr au nom du Bloc québécois et je l'ose aussi de tous les Québécois, j'offre nos plus sincères condoléances à toute la communauté, à toutes les communautés touchées et je souhaite un prompt rétablissement à tous les blessés. Sachez que nous sommes avec vous de tout cœur et sachez que nous nous souviendrons de vous.
Is there unanimous consent of the House member for Saanich Gulf Islands to add her comments? Agreed.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. C'est un grand honneur aujourd'hui de joindre mes collègues avec les mots de condoléances vers les familles, les proches et les communautés de Saskatchewan, mais aussi pour partout au Canada. I stand here today in a minor hockey jersey from one of our local teams, Peninsula Eagles, because we know that right across this country, as my other colleagues have said, there isn't a community that doesn't feel touched, saddened, grieved, in tears over the terrible tragedy that occurred on that Saskatchewan crossroads. I want to thank the Honourable Minister for Public Safety, a son of Saskatchewan who spoke so beautifully and encompassed a lot of what I thought I might want to say. He said it better. And to the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, also from Saskatchewan, beautiful imagery that brings to mind what it's like to watch your kids grow up playing hockey with their friends and the lessons they learn. Watch my grandkids now. So my grandkids in Toronto take to the ice on weekend mornings. Grandkids in Vancouver do the same. Right across this country, it's something that brings us together. And I think that's why the senseless, horrific loss of 16 bright young lives and the serious injuries to their other teammates have hit us so hard. So all we can say is, once again, as Canadians, we're with you. Humboldt Broncos, those you play with, those you loved, those you billet with. And as you go through your recovery, to the young men in hospital, God be with you. Commend the bravery. The words of Ryan Stresnitsky, who now is facing life paralyzed and saying, yeah, he's going to keep playing hockey. And we can bet our bottom dollar he's going to win the Paralympics. God bless Humboldt. God bless all of Canada that rose in one voice, with one heart, together to say this is a tragedy that touches us all. We grieve as one community, one Canada. Merci.